So every now and then someone does something that annoys you in BedWars. It's an emotional game. Things happen, right? I don't know how many times I've been mad in the game, but I have been. You know, it just gets under your skin. And my thought is it's because BedWars is a very strategic game. And so if someone does something really, really dumb, it's going to annoy you. Just like, you know, when someone's driving, they get cut off in the road, kind of get mad. You just get a little bit mad. And honestly, it's no different than someone cutting in line, right? It just gets under your skin. It's not nice. Sometimes it's because they're being rude. Sometimes it's just because they don't know better. But today we're going to go through 10 things that annoy other players in BedWars. These are things that will make most players cringe or possibly yell or complain, okay? Now, not all of these are going to annoy everyone, so to each their own. You know, some of these don't even annoy me, to be honest, but we're going to go through them anyway. Now, before you run away in fear, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because that would help me a ton. Now, the first one we're going to cover is taking diamonds while running into battle. This one really annoys me. I don't know how many times I've run into this myself, where I'm following my teammate towards the generator, and I'm thinking, they're going to avoid it, right? They're not going to run over that diamond. Why would they run over the diamond and pick it up? They're going to rush the enemy base. I'm here trying to upgrade my generator, or maybe I'm trying to get enchants or something else. And you know what they do? They run right over the diamonds and they keep running to the enemy. They picked up the diamonds and ran to attack the enemy. You know what that means? There's a good chance they're going to die because they're probably trying to break the bed, or they're trying to like kill some other players. You get a 50-50 chance unless you're overpowered, unless you're like absolutely overgeared and you can handle your own. Chances are you're going to die with those diamonds and you're going to go run off with my diamonds. Seriously, you're literally feeding the enemy team with diamonds if you die. This is like one of the most dumb things you could possibly do in the game, although, you know, I could probably think of a few more. Now, the next one happens to everyone, and it's not splitting. And when I say splitting, if you don't understand what that means, then definitely check out some of my tips videos. It'll kind of open your eyes about how splits work. Now, this is a big annoyance for anyone skilled at BedWars because they know how to split, and splitting just gives an opportunity for everyone to get some iron when they need it. Now, I've had my impatient spouts, right? So, you know, you're waiting for your teammates and they're just taking way too long, and you just go and just dip in and grab that iron. Well, that's a lot different than when you're in with the randoms and you're chasing someone and you ping the generator multiple times to make it very clear you're behind them and you want to split, and they take right in front of you. Or you're just coming back and they're just sitting on the generator the entire time. Now, this next one doesn't really annoy me personally, but it annoys a lot of players, and that's breaking beds early in 30v30s. Most players in 30v30s, they don't like short games. I discovered this when I used to kind of go try hard in 30v30s. I always thought like, hey, there's a lot of enemy players over there. Maybe I should just go in and break that bed fast before they build up a defense. And most players don't even want to have that. In fact, I think 30v30 players would love it if there was just no bed at all and it's just the game kept going on until like maybe the time ran out or something, because they really, really enjoy the casual nature of 30v30s. So a lot of players really hate it when players break beds too early, and often you'll see a lot of complaints about it. I used to get like raged at whenever I'd break beds too soon, and they want to play and they want to gear up. They want to get like that emerald armor. They want to get stacked and they want to go and fight. It's a very, very casual game mode, and that's why the devs called it fun, right? You know, whenever you queue up, it says fun. That's why. So yeah, maybe don't break beds early in 30v30s if you don't want to get people mad at you. Now, if I'm in the match, go for it because I like getting wins. Why not? Now, this next one really, really annoys me, and that's when players get the wrong upgrade first. Like, literally, they'll go and buy, like, break speed first instead of tier 1. Like, it was just one more diamond. It's just one more diamond, everyone. All you need is 4 diamonds for tier 1. There's no excuse for this. I mean, you know what's even worse is when they go and get, like, bed alarm first. That's even worse because, dude, you don't need a bed alarm when the game just started. Really, really annoying for me and others. You always got to start out with that tier 1 upgrade. There's no reason to like get anything but tier 1 at first. Unless you're playing like a unique mode like Infected, which uses a completely different system. Speaking of getting the wrong upgrades, getting the wrong relics is the next one we're going to cover. And this happens a lot in 30v30s and with randoms. People just don't know what to get sometimes. Like, I've seen people go after Head Start. Of all things, they got Head Start versus so many other options like Unity. Like Unity versus Head Start, just one example. I also saw another team get stuck with the Escape Artist in 30v30s when there was like King's Grasp available. I mean, you keep majority of your items if you die. Like, why would you go for Escape Artist over that? So, you know, and I've made videos on relics, like, you know, ranking the different relics, but most players should know what's good for 30v30s. On the same topic of 30v30s, if you're the type to wall up your base because you forgot you loaded BedWars instead of Bloxburg, then you're going to be annoying a lot of players. I know it's fun to make forts and castles and stuff. You know, who doesn't like building forts? Man, if you give me a bunch of Legos, I'm still going to build a really cool castle. In fact, I do that inside islands. I made castles on islands. But when you're being chased down by the enemy and you can't get back into your own base because there's a huge wall completely blocked in and you can't get back in with all your emeralds, there's a big problem. Whoever's building those walls is clearly scared to go outside and face the enemy. Just don't do it. It's really, really annoying. In fact, keep it wide open. The only time you want to wall up is if you're getting like fireballed or if you're getting like bowed at. At that point, you respond to that and make those walls accordingly. But you don't proactively make a giant fully walled in. You don't need the full wall. You need to be able to get out and combat. Now, this one really gets to me, and that's when players are knowingly playing with a hacker and not lobbying. What does that mean? So if you're in squads or some kind of mode and you have a hacker on your team, you should be leaving the game. After you report them, you should be leaving the match. When I see a hacker with teammates who just aren't hacking, but they just appear to be okay with it as long as the hacker isn't on the opposing team, there's a big problem here. It's hypocrisy at its finest. Like, you complain about hackers when they're fighting you, but you're fine with them being on your team as long as you're going to get a free win. This is a big problem. Think about this. If you're that type of player that doesn't leave a game when you have a hacker on your team, this is going to annoy everyone. In fact, they're probably going to report you too. But I will tell you, before I had the ability to ban hackers, the first thing that I would do is report them. And the second thing I would do is either expose my bed to help the other teams to take out the hacker, or I would lobby to make it harder for the hacker to win. But I'm not going to hang out in the game just with the hacker just to get a free win. I don't think that's cool. I don't think it's okay to get free wins like that. It's really, really cheap, okay? I know it's hard to get wins at times on your own, but it's better just to learn the game over time. You will get better. There's no reason to hang out with hackers. Now, this one doesn't really bother me personally since it's just free kills, but AFK players are everywhere in Skywars and 30v30s, and I'm sure this is going to eventually get fixed by the devs, but players are so desperate for Battle Pass XP and to increase their win count that they're literally AFK all day and night in these modes. It doesn't really affect 30v30s as much, they just sit there, but it does really affect Skywars where players have no teammate since their teammate is literally just sitting there AFK. The sad part about this is a lot of those AFK players do get reported, and we have to go through those reports. You know, whenever I'm doing some AC mod kind of stuff, I have to go through the reports too, and I have to like figure out like, why did this person get reported, and then I just see them sitting there AFK. Now, stream sniping can be okay, but most of the time it's just plain annoying, okay? Unless you're doing it to mess around and not really try to show off or prove yourself, it's really annoying. Look, I've done it before in non-Roblox games, so I get how fun it is to hunt down a content creator. It's just not going to make them like you, like, at all. Like, they're not going to be impressed with you. If you get a headshot on them, you get a trick shot, you spawn camp them, you do whatever to them, they're not going to be impressed with you. They're not going to be like, oh, this player is so good. Stream sniping, not cool. It's all where you sit, right? So from your side, you're having fun. We're not having fun at all when you do it. Another thing that really annoys content creators, and we're going to finish with this one, it's demanding a 1v1 with that content creator after you insult them. And typically speaking, when you're asking to 1v1, you're trying to prove something. You're trying to prove yourself better than another player or a content creator, and that's not really going to happen in 1v1, even if you did, okay? So the game was not designed for 1v1s. There's no 1v1 mode currently in the game. I think the closest thing that you're going to have is something like gun game where there's no bed, because the game is very volatile. It's based on pings. It's based on FPS. If you have FPS on locker, knockback, and such, there's just so many different minute details that make it completely unfair if someone was able to get your bed and kill you. Like, it just isn't forgiving for that. So gun game would be a lot more forgiving because it's, you know, point based. But if you're going to pull up on someone, insult them in their face, and then ask them to waste time with you after you insulted them, you got to think twice. I don't think I have any viewers that are like this, but if you are, hopefully this changes the perspective a little bit, and maybe you just change the tone, change the angle. Just want to have a chance to play with you. That's totally different. Anyway, I hope some of these were enlightening for you. If they were, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know if there's something that really annoys you when you're in matches with other players, especially randoms and strangers, because typically speaking, most of the time, that's where you're going to get annoyed. It's people that you don't know. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.